My next question comes from Joseph, and he wanted to know about whether entertainment can ever reach perfection. In my opinion, perfect movies do exist, and while perfect TV show episodes do exist, perfect TV shows do not. Do you think perfect movies and TV shows exist? That's an interesting question, and one definitely worth discussing. I do think perfect movies exist. Some people think that loving every aspect of a film is just being blind to its flaws. But I love the movies I love because every aspect, from the direction, to the writing, to the characters, to the technical elements, are able to leave an incredible impact and hit the right buttons for me. My number one favorite movie is WALL-E, which I've watched many times in the almost 11 years since its release, and have yet to find anything to criticize about the film. The story structure, the character development, the technical qualities, the creative choices Andrew Stanton makes in his direction, every little thing about WALL-E works to an outstanding level, and I'm mesmerized whenever I sit down to watch it. Raiders of the Lost Ark is another one that comes to mind. Every character decision works, all the action set pieces are perfect in how the stunts are planned and performed, and the sequences are edited, and John Williams' score hits the proper exciting and emotional beats. Even the way the Paramount logo is used is brilliant. Back to the Future is often cited as having a perfect screenplay, and that's a fair assessment. The little writing choices made by Robert Zemeckis and Bob Gale that add to the overall story being told and serve a purpose. With time travel stories, your brain can sometimes get crossed trying to figure out the whole thing. However, for every time travel conundrum someone has nitpicked about the film, there's a creative decision made by Zemeckis and Gale that shows why that's not a flaw. Those are just a few examples, but I can go on and on, listing many other movies I find to be perfect. You'll sometimes see in a review someone saying, if I have to find a flaw, but do you really have to find one? If I have a critical problem with a movie, those flaws find me, rather than something I'm actively looking for. With television, though, it's a little trickier to be perfect, due to how many more hours are being made, and rather than creating one story, you have several. In one episode, Buffy the Vampire Slayer could be dealing with a serious problem affecting her friends. In another episode, a demon has forced the entire town to partake in musical numbers. In another episode, the show has suddenly turned into an anti-alcohol PSA. You're more prone to having a few more misses. When Joseph first asked this question, the first show that came to mind as a perfect one was Arrested Development. The Fox years, anyway. I rewatched the first 3 seasons not too long ago, and I was impressed by just how well the jokes and storylines held up, and I especially admired the Russo brothers' role in the direction of the show, and how well they utilized the cast. If you wondered how the Russos were able to successfully divide time between the multiple Avengers in Infinity War, you have Arrested Development to thank for that. Their talents, and Mitchell Hurwitz's talents, really seemed to work incredibly well in sync, and they also knew how to use the 22-minute episode length tight in the scripts. When the show moved to Netflix and Hurwitz was allowed to make the episodes longer than standard network television, it seemed to lack the rhythm and comedic timing of the original seasons. It was not particularly helped by the cast not being together though, but even the re-edited episodes released last year did not do much to improve those seasons. But I still stand by the Fox seasons being perfect. Now, when you look at British television, quite a number of creators decide to end after they produced only a short number of episodes, which increases the chance of them being perfect and not running out of steam. John Cleese and Connie Booth decided to make only 12 episodes of Fawlty Towers, and I think that was the right call. Those are 12 fantastic, hilarious, and yes, perfect episodes. They managed to find every comedic potential with his temperamental hotel manager, his employees, and the guests at his Torquay establishment, and Cleese's delivery of his lines elevate them even further. But those are just a few examples of mine. What are some movies and television series you consider to be perfect? Let me know in the comments, and thank you for your question, Joseph.